what is it that you really find interesting about platform video games? Is it the sense of adventure? Is it the progression of completing levels? Or is it the firm sense of belief that your feet are solidly on the ground? If it's the latter, then Ynglet probably isn't the game for you. But it is the latest game released by Nifflas Games. Now, Nifflas is an indie Swedish video game developer. He's someone we've already featured on this channel. We did a review of Comet Underground back in 2020. That's one of my favourite indie games that came to the Wii U and a couple of other consoles. And he's been a busy guy since then. He actually, still on the Wii U, did a game called The Affordable Space Adventure, which I'd highly recommend as probably one of the best selling points of a doomed console's gamepad. Really innovative use of that controller and a really fun multiplayer game. But he's been a bit quiet since then, and he's been working on this little beauty called Ynglet that I'm going to play for a couple of minutes. I'll play for a little while and then give you a friend reacts video as I break down this rather cheap indie platform that's only recently been released on Steam. So I've played quite a bit of the game now, and if any of you have played any of Nifflas' previous games, particularly Comet Underground, the bits where you transform between being a platformer and a ball, and it becomes a challenge to sort of manipulate the physics mechanics. I absolutely get that. Oh, it's almost the core of Ynglet. It's moving between these platforms, and so when you're on a platform, you have complete three-dimensional movement, up, down, left to right, and there's a boost button. If you're in a platform, you can boost as often as you like, but the moment you leave the safety of those platforms, gravity takes hold. You have one boost unless you interact with a specific object that then gives you the ability to gain successive boosts. There's every level has a path from a beginning to end, but along that path there's a succession of hidden collectibles for you to collect as you go along, some side areas, and lots of rather devilish little puzzles. This is a really slickly designed game. It doesn't appear to be that long, probably if you ignore the collectibles it's probably completable in under an hour, but there's a lot to enjoy here. It's got this really slick artistic design. I was a little bit scared going into this that it's reminiscent of very, very small things. Now I'm really not a fan of microbiology zooms in, things like there are some absolutely terrifying creatures that are only a few microns tall. Now, they're not scary because of their size, of course they're insignificant, but when you zoom the camera in and you see this small stuff that's cellular organisms, they're really horrible designs and creatures out there. And I thought there was a moment early on in playing Ynglet, I thought, oh god, this is going to be about cellular organisms. It never gets that explicit, fortunately. There might be moments of inspiration there from this moving between cells to cells, but it's not going in that direction, and I am so grateful. In fact, I was reading an interview after finishing the game, which Nifflas said he was actually inspired by Echo the Dolphin. And okay, I can't see it in terms of it's not visible in the game, but I feel it. Echo the Dolphin has that same three-dimensional movement, nowhere near as slick as this. I absolutely adore the old Mega Drive, Sega Genesis Echo games, and yeah, they had those moments where you would leap out the water and lose that grace and slick movement that you had as an underwater creature. This game is about taking that concept of leaping from pools of safety where you're in your natural environment, but in order to sort of reach your end goal or find all the things you need to collect, you have to give up that sense of safety. So if what you like about platformers is that safety of, your feet on the ground, there's a clear sense of mechanics, this is not the game for you. Nifflas has crafted and created something here which is completely about vertigo platforming. It's about that sense of controlling your free falling, and using these pockets of safety to manipulate your surroundings to make sure that you end up getting and collecting everything that you pass en route. It's a really small but slickly developed, highly polished game. The sound design has apparently been programmed using algorithms, which is quite interesting. The artwork is absolutely beautiful. It's apparently been designed by an artist called Sara Sandberg. I'm going to have to look up some more of her stuff. But no, this is small. It's some of Nifflas's previous experiences have actually almost outstayed their welcome. They've been too big. But in this case, it's all been about that short, sharp, beautiful experience. It's not an expensive game. I'd recommend this for a short diversion for anyone, as long as you don't have too much of a sense of vertigo.